A speaker stands in a packed auditorium delivering what appears to be a masterclass in professional communication. He wears a tailored suit, presents flawless high-resolution slides, and projects a voice of total authority. He speaks of leveraging synergies and navigating market headwinds with the polished confidence found at the highest levels of business. He is loud, clear, and technically perfect, yet the scene is bizarre. It is a performance for ghosts. In the audience, eyes are glazed. The dim blue glow of smartphones reflects off faces as people scroll through grocery lists. The polished energy from the stage fails to land. It merely bounces off the room. During the subsequent Q&A, a junior manager stands. Her voice is thin and slightly shaky, devoid of a script. She admits to staring at her inbox at midnight, wondering if her extra effort leads anywhere, and stating that 90 days should matter more than the last. Instantly, the atmosphere in the room inverts. Scrolling stops, and the audience leans forward, exhaling in a collective moment of permission. The CEO possessed the volume and the data, but this woman found the frequency. This shift from distracted indifference to focused silence reveals a fundamental truth. We often confuse being heard with being felt. Resonance is not a mystical accident. It is a precise, almost mathematical alignment between spoken words and the unspoken truths already vibrating inside an audience. While we often dismiss this as vague presence or magic, it is actually a matter of mechanics. To understand it, we must strip away corporate training manuals and examine the evolutionary and cognitive hardware that dictates what the human brain pays attention to and what it ignores. This is not an artistic triumph, it is a biological hack. The human brain was not designed for the modern world, nor for PowerPoint slides and abstract concepts like synergy. We are running modern software on an operating system that has remained largely unchanged for 200,000 years. Our hardware is designed for survival within small, tight-knit tribes, optimized to detect immediate threats like predators or fire. When the junior manager spoke, she bypassed modern logical filters and spoke directly to the threat detection and tribal cohesion centers of the brain. Consider a father living in a high-stress coastal environment where the rising water table and intensifying storms are a daily physical reality. Officials from the capital, though well-meaning, attempted to engage his community using televised speeches filled with high-level data, millennial carbon neutrality goals, and charts of global temperature averages. This is executive control communication. It is future-oriented and requires significant cognitive effort to process. To the father, this information was mere background noise, as essential to his immediate survival as the hum of a refrigerator. His brain, in power-saving mode due to constant stress, filtered it out. The narrative shifted when the local community leader addressed a town hall. He avoided mention of the year 2050 or complex charts. Instead, he spoke of the salt that eats the iron of their children's bed frames and the theft of the soil their ancestors named. The father's brain ignited. The salt on the bed frame was not a policy, it was an invasion occurring in his home, threatening his children. This biological shift is the battle between the salience network and the executive control network. The executive control network, involving the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, handles higher-order thinking and abstract planning. It is energy expensive and slow. Under stress, the brain suppresses this network to boost the salience network, the rapid threat detection system involving the amygdala. Evolution dictates that we cannot plan for the year 2050 if we believe there is a tiger in the room. The salt on the bed frame was the tiger. It turned an abstract fox problem, a future concern, into a rabid problem, an immediate existential threat. In the evolutionary hierarchy, the rabbit runs faster because it is running for its life, while the fox is only running for its dinner. However, Attention without trust creates only anxiety and paralysis. Trust possesses its own deep-seated logic, often explained through costly signaling theory. In the hyper-competitive 999 work culture of Shenzhen, showing weakness is typically akin to bleeding in a shark tank. A manager tasked with a brutal restructuring and imminent layoffs understood this. Rather than hiding behind a podium in synergy metrics, he sat on the edge of a desk with bloodshot eyes, visibly shaken. He told his team he had to inform his own mentor that his desk would be empty the next day. He did not hide his shaking hands. While conventional wisdom suggests this would signal incompetence, the team rallied. In game theory, words are cheap talk. Anyone can claim to care.
But the manager's visible distress was a costly signal, much like a peacock's tail. The tail is heavy and dangerous, yet it proves the peacock's underlying strength because a weak bird could not afford the handicap. By risking his status and authority in a ruthless hierarchy, the manager proved his emotion was real. He collapsed the distance between the leader and the tribe, signaling that he was not hunting a rabbit for his own survival, but was committed to the stag hunt, the difficult coordination of group survival. His shaking hands were an honest signal of moral injury, a physical manifestation of the damage caused by acting against deeply held tribal codes. The final piece of the puzzle is environmental mismatch. A technically gifted London architect struggled to gain approval for a sustainable urban ecosystem. Neighborhood councils blocked him, viewing his talk of urban density and zoning as noisy, dangerous bureaucracy. In desperation, he pivoted. He stopped talking about buildings and began describing a clearing in the woods, a place with a roof for safety, but a view of the horizon for the tribe to gather. He mapped modern complexity onto an ancestral template that the brain has run for millennia. This triggered narrative transportation, where the brain simulates a story as a mock reality. By using an ancestral archetype, he transformed a scary, unknown future into a familiar, safe past. He gave them a flight simulator for survival, reducing the cognitive load of change. The common thread is clear. The most effective communicators stop speaking to the modern logical brain and speak to the hunter-gatherer within. They address the need to protect offspring, the need to trust the tribe, and the need for safe shelter. They respect the biological organism. However, this raises a troubling prospect. If we only mobilize when we interpret the world through Stone Age instincts, are we truly equipped for the future? We can describe climate change as salt on a bed frame, but we cannot yet resonate with silent, invisible threats like AI algorithms or nanoplastics. The next great challenge is not merely triggering resonance, but rewiring our biology to care about the abstract truths that will define our survival. Until then, to be heard, one must find the salt.